So this video will somewhat tie in to the recording I did yesterday called They Walk Among Us Already. For any of those who haven't been to my channel, who do not know what this channel is about, I am what is referred to as a targeted individual, someone who has been specifically sought out and targeted by factions of the government, military, and other malevolent entities. Before I get too far, I do apologize for the noise. I am on a busy road. It is not always conducive to do the recordings at home. So I am somewhere else in a parking lot. You might want to read the About section of this channel if you're confused as to what a targeted individual is. There are many different stages, and not everyone receives the same forced torture. The torture is tailored to an individual's unique energetic signature and neurological signal. And then also other factors are taken into account, and that is why I say the torture is tailored. It is basically, it's 24/7, 365. The goal and or the intent of those sick, sadistic, twisted fucks is elimination. This is an elimination program. They seek out the most spiritually advanced on the planet. And because of the time that we are in, the parasitic species that resides below ground within the planet does this in just about every civilization, and is again trying to do the same in this civilization. And that is why towards the evolution climax of every civilization, they usually about 100 years beforehand, they pull out the technology and the AI system. Their method is to get the inhabitants of a planet technologically advanced while keeping them spiritually ignorant, spiritually immature, spiritually dumb, spiritually retarded, whatever, pick your word. And that's what they've done in this civilization. They're trying to obstruct the evolution of the collective, of humanity at this time. They have been using humanity as a food source, among other things. This species uses technology to rape, exploit, torture, murder, clone, and many other things. They also use what are called astral technologies. There is an artificial frequency fence surrounding this planet that is also used to forcibly, intentionally regress and obstruct universal laws, as well as intentionally, forcibly regress and obstruct, more so try to prevent any incoming universal law manifested corrections, energies, and frequencies. And that is also what they use part of what they use the clones for, is to, in essence, take the karmic hit. They perceive clones as throwaways. They also see clones as a way to evade or bypass or loophole universal laws. The clones are used for many other things. Some of those I might mention in this particular recording, as that is one of the methods they use to torture and rape me. And they're essentially basically just about everybody on the planet, because they have massive cloning centers underground. Because they use the clones for so many different things, one of the things that they use them for is to rape whatever planet that they're on. These are parasitic entities. They're like locusts, or cockroaches. They're parasites. They move from planet to planet. They mix among the inhabitants and interbreed with a select few and hybridize, and then they proceed to exploit, rape, torture, and murder the inhabitants, pretty much for the most part via clone. So they want what humans have, and at the same time they perceive us as cattle. You have to remember, these are parasites. They do not possess logic or critical thinking skills or reason. They pretty much operate out of their instinct they have a need to feed, is what that is. And their method of torture, rape, and murder is technology and clones. In combination with that, they have also utilized astral realms, artificial realities within the AI system that are already like set up, because AI is ancient. So some of those realities are already, I guess you'd say, pre-made or already in existence. The AI system has been connected to the astral realms and these artificial realities. And a couple of recordings back, I also posed the question, because I get a very strong feeling that the higher realms have been compromised. The higher dimensions, seeing as how there has not been true benevolent intervention in several millennia in what has been being forced and done on this planet. They are using humanity as a food source. They torture, rape, and murder every day. They do it on the surface and they do it below ground. In many, there's just the magnitude of atrocity and horror and abhorrent, vile, sadistic things that this species forces on humans is not, I'm not really able to articulate it. And if you were to see yourself what goes on below ground, you would vomit, have diarrhea, and black out all at the same time. You would not be able to handle it. And there have been those that have come forward and spoken of the cloning centers. They do exist. There are many that are being operated. They do a lot of cloning, as they see clones as throwaways. So because they have clones to them, have many different purposes, it's a very large operation and a big part of their trying to sustain their existence. And they have been cloning the masses in each successive timeline, civilization, in order to rape from them. They are also using what they've raped from humanity in combination with technology and the artificial frequency fence in the astral realms, to forcibly regress and obstruct universal laws. So they're using technology and what they've raped from humans in order to forcibly regress and obstruct universal laws. Now that has been going on for a very long time, many millennia. There has been no true benevolent intervention up to this point. I have a very strong feeling, based on some other experiences that I've had, that the higher dimensions, or at least some of the higher dimensions, have been compromised. Now, nobody wants to believe that. Nobody wants to look at that, especially all of these humans who are very much into or focused on ascending. There's a lot of videos that have been coming out about ascending to 5D, as they already have artificial realities that increase in number, just like the organic dimensions would. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All of those, 5D, 7D, 6D, 8D, 12D, they have as a way, they have mimicked in a technological sphere their version of the organic dimension. However, most of those dimensions, especially at least 1 through 4, are used to torture, rape, and murder benevolent beings. They trap them in the astral realm. Those who have, and they do it to those who have already passed, as well as those who are alive. They torture, rape, and murder, which includes children and animals, in those artificial realities. So it's a 1D hell, 2D hell, 3D hell, 4D hell. Now 5D, they're making it sound real good. It's all love and light. It's all, you're going to ascend. Everything's going to be great. You're going to be happy, and you're going to do this and that and all this other stuff. When really what it is they are trying to be, number one, obstruct evolution altogether. And number two, if they can't do that, they're trying to make it to where they're still trying to remain in control of humanity. And they're trying to get everybody into a 5D hell that's an actual not a full replica, but it's replica. It's a copy. They're trying to trick and or con and or deceive the humans into going into an artificial 5D and then trapping them within the AI system. They feed off of true benevolent life force energy. They've been using humanity as a food source. They are trying to sustain their, or continue their stay in manifested creation. They're parasites. Parasites do not belong in manifested creation. They are already dead entities. You can't have dead entities mixing or trying to somehow coexist alongside the living, vibrating beings holding or being of true benevolent life force energy. And that's just simply because of the fact of what they are. They're a parasite. I'm sure everyone understands what a parasite is and what a parasite does to a host. A parasite is a dead entity, and the only way it can remain moving around, is to parasitize off of life that is alive and vibrating. So it is not right to have parasites, and especially this kind of a parasitic infection, on this planet and in this universe, mixed in with alive, vibrating life force beings. Especially when they're doing what they're doing with universal laws, cloning, technologies, and because there has not been true benevolent intervention for several millennia, and they're doing what they're doing to universal laws, the balance is pretty much, at least in this, to be safe, we'll say this quadrant of the universe, the balance is gone. This part of the universe is overrun with parasites. And because of what they're doing with universal laws, that affects the very balance of everything, the interconnectedness of everything. It affects all beings, dimensions, timelines. That's why universal laws exist, to correct imbalance. Universal laws is remedy. It's redress. It's the balancer, the corrector, the mediator. We can't have parasites running amok with technology, forcibly regressing and obstructing universal laws. And obstructing, in addition to that, obstructing and regressing any incoming manifested universal law correction energies and frequencies from reaching here. You can't do that. It destroys the balance in the universe, or at least this, this part. We'll say, like I said, I'll keep it to just this part of the universe. The balance is gone. It's because it's being overrun by a parasitic infection, running amok with technology. So the question is, what happened there? That's why I said I have a very sick feeling that the higher dimensions have been compromised. Otherwise, there would be benevolent intervention, as the interference and or obstruction of universal laws would at some point start to affect other dimensions, other realities, in addition to other timelines, concurrent timelines. No true benevolent creator God, nor should any entity and or being claiming to run and operate the universe itself should be allowing parasites and demons to run amok with technology and be using technology and clones in an artificial frequency fence surrounding a planet to forcibly obstruct and regress universal laws, as well as any correction energies and frequencies. That's how universes implode. And because they're parasites and they do not possess critical thinking or logic, they simply have a need to feed, and they take what they have raped, like knowledge and wisdom and information that they've raped from humans. Basically, because they don't possess logic, and they're just creatures, parasitic creatures that are using technology to rape They don't really, they try to use the information or the knowledge, but they're using it in an inverted fashion. They're not using the knowledge and the information properly. And so you end up with what we currently have going on this planet. There is extreme inversion of many things. And there has been no true benevolent intervention. So again, that is one more reason why I question whether the higher dimensions and higher realms have been compromised. I'm sorry, one moment, please. Unfortunately, with my targeting, because I've been forced to see and experience such horrific things that most don't, most of the general public is not forced to see and experience, because of what I've seen and what I know. My targeting, or it's not mine, it's being forced. The targeting and things being forced on me are to such a level and degree that they have, in the last couple of years, moved into cloning torture, in where they forcibly attach clones to my being, and then they proceed to torture, rape, and murder the clones, and then try and transfer like the visions of that, the sensory perceptions of that. So for example, they'll forcibly attach a clone to my being. They'll proceed to murder the clone via dismemberment. And then they try to force those visions and those sensory perceptions into my physical being. They also, especially the last year, have been forcibly trying to possess my being against the full revocation of my consent. Everything that they force is against the full revocation of my consent, which I am stating every day, all day. One more reason that I'm coming to the conclusion that the higher realms and higher dimensions have been compromised because of what they're forcing, is that they are in absolute violation of all universal laws. And they have been for a very long time. So if there is some supposed neutral and or regulating force, benevolent force, aside from universal laws in this universe, they're not doing their fucking job. They're sure not. Because of what's being forced on some of the beings here on this planet, most especially with regards to cloning and technology. They're using frequency weaponry to forcibly hack into the minds and emotional bodies of those they deem a threat. It's called remote neural monitoring, is one term. If you really want to look that up, you can. Voice to skull technology, which in short is called V2K. V as in Victor, 2, the number 2, and then K. The EEG heterodyning technology is connected to the cloning programs. The directed energy weaponry is in essence frequency weaponry. And once they have your unique neurological signal and energetic signature, they can, what it is they then program that into satellites. Then they take other malevolent, harmful frequencies and piggyback those frequencies onto a person's overall frequencies, like their neurological signal and their energetic signature. So they take malevolent, harmful frequencies and piggyback those onto that person's individual frequency. So they can use a satellite to nail anybody pretty much anywhere on the planet, unless they're underground. You could be standing in a room full of people, and they could be torturing only you, simply because they have your unique neurological signal that they've programmed into the satellite, along with, and then are piggybacking very harmful, malevolent, painful frequencies onto your own signal. And so they're nailing you in a whole room full of people, but you're the only one getting hit. And that technology, they were doing that in the 90s. Now, they still use it, but what I'm saying is that was 90s version of technology. Imagine what they have now. They're, part of the goal is they're trying to control, they're trying to get control over all humans via the frequency weaponry, which is one more reason for those towers that they put up all through the pandemic, quietly, in neighborhoods, in schools, shopping malls. Many of them are disguised as trees. Okay, it's a weapon system. It's a frequency weapons system. In addition to the nastiness that was put into the thing that they were trying to get everybody to take during that 2-year period, via threat and force. They're trying to, like I said, obstruct humanity from evolving. And they're also trying to get them all into the AI system and trying to be able to control them on with the technology that they've implemented. I'd like to be careful with my wording. Number one, they try to force magic. They still try to force magic on videos. And I don't want to give them any quarter. So I do often use the word try and or trying, because I give them no quarter. And we're still here, and we still have the ability to fight. But most people, there are many who are still asleep. And then, there are, so here's the thing with the cloning. I kind of got off topic there. Because they clone over civilizations. Basically what they're doing is they're looking for benevolent life force energy. Death is a recycling program. It's not necessary. It's a program that was started back in Atlantis. They use the recycling program to fracture and fragment beings in consecutive lifetimes, to keep them from remembering that this planet's already been invaded and there's a parasitic species using them as food. And trying to rape them of all their stuff. So they use the recycling program to fracture and fragment humans in consecutive lifetimes, to keep them from remembering the initial and or original trauma, the original perpetration, the original crime. And then a human spends the majority of their life trying to get back or reattain or reacquire or remember already learned lessons, already learned, earned, and attained knowledge, wisdom, gifts, skills, abilities, mastery over certain aspects of, one's being, learning, there are different stages of evolution and spiritual growth. Part of the fragmenting and the fracturing is to try and keep them from remembering. So here's the thing. It's not a fucking school when you have a parasitic species that forcibly regresses and obstructs universal law correction, and forcibly tries to rape the collective's evolution, as well as individually, and then forcibly tries to rape them of their already earned and attained and learned knowledge, wisdom, gifts, skills, and abilities, mastery, whatever mastery that they've accomplished. They try to rape that. And not only that, they try to rape it, but then they try to regress that individual. And they've also forcibly regressed humanity's spiritual growth, progress, expansion over many civilizations. They've been raping every one of their evolution in prior timelines, is what that is. So here we are again in this civilization, hitting our evolution climax, where people start to really spiritually grow and advance and excel. And we can see what they're doing. Basically, they've hybridized with humans to a certain extent. A lot of splicing and dicing is done. And those groups that you've heard of that supposedly run the surface shit, those have been hybridized. Not even sure there's any human left in those ones. I don't think that there is. Because of the absolute abhorrent, violent crimes and just atrocities that they have perpetrated on humanity. I would say they're definitely theirs. Just because they're in human vessels doesn't mean they're human. So, like I said in the last one, if you've seen Men in Black, the one where there's a character in there called Edgar, wearing a human suit, and then towards the end of that movie, Edgar reveals what he really is and rips off the human suit. Okay, so that's what you're dealing with. Don't get it twisted. They are parasites. Straight up parasites. And what they have forced on humanity is an abomination. What they have done, forcibly done in this universe, is an abomination. So that is why I say I'm getting very strong feeling that at least some of the higher dimensions and higher realms have been compromised and are no longer populated with benevolent beings. Especially with the amount of atrocity and violations of universal laws being forced on this planet. So part of doing this recording was to mention the cloning. Personally, it's not mine, what they're forcing on me has reached such horrific proportions in combination with the cloning torture they do daily. They've been forcibly trying to possess and still forcibly trying to rape from me and trying to murder me all at the same time. And this is a daily occurrence. Pretty much every day, all day. Because they hold massive fear of going extinct. They are in massive violation of all universal laws. I continuously, because of where I am in my spiritual growth and my progress, I have certain gifts, skills, and abilities. And I use my gifts, skills, and abilities to do my best to protect myself from them and from the frequency weaponry. And because I'm able to do certain things, and because of certain spiritual laws, for the most part, they disregard universal laws. But there are one or two that they still somewhat observe. So it's a constant battle in where I continue to move because they've hijacked universal laws. I continue to move their stuff, their violations, directly to universal laws outside of the frequency fence. And then they come back and retaliate and use their technology and whatever other means that they are using to regress, to then regress any actions that I've taken. They are obstructing remedy. They're obstructing universal laws and obstructing remedy. It's not a fucking school. It's a parasitic farm in where they have been farming humans. I mean, you still learn things here, but you have a parasitic species constantly trying to rape you of that learning, of that knowledge, that wisdom, your life force, basically whatever they think that you have that's of value to them, they spend their time raping it. Even though you've already earned and attained through much hard work, much suffering, many lifetimes, even though those things are yours, they use the technology to rape. And then they use the technology to regress and obstruct remedy. And they've been doing this for many millennia. It's not a fucking school. What they rape from the masses is being forcibly consumed by parasites. Because it's not just the ones within the planet. There are other groups that claim to be benevolent and that claim to be assisting humanity that are actually parasites. And just as corrupt. Only, and I'm not even sure what's worse, the ones that do it outright or the ones that tell you that they're benevolent and tell you that they're trying to help. They're here to help. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They're here to help. There's even some that claim to have ships around the planet. Oh my gosh. But what are they doing? They're just waiting. They're just apparently there's some ships sitting just outside of Earth, just waiting to help. Oh my gosh. And we've needed help for about 10,000 years. Oh my gosh, I wonder what they're waiting for. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if that is true, because I don't believe any of that. But if that is true, I wonder what it is that they're waiting for. Considering what's being forced on this planet and forcibly done to humanity, collectively and individually, and because that species is in violation of every single universal law in existence, I wonder what it is that they're waiting for. Especially when they're hacking into beings with frequency weaponry in a universe based on frequency, vibration, light, sound, energy, and resonance. Right? So, yeah. I don't know what, if they are out there, I don't know what they're waiting for. I know that many entities have been using humanity as a smorgasbord, and they've been treating it like it's a fucking free-for-all. With massive, forcibly committed massive atrocity, violence, and violation. And most humans don't seem to really have a clue. That species has been passed off as rumor. And it's not a rumor. Generally, rumors come from somewhere, don't they? Just like they used to make fun of tinfoil hats. And now people are starting to realize that it's actually aluminum foil. That aluminum foil can actually help protect your head in certain instances. And it's not so fucking crazy. To want to protect your brain from forced frequency weaponry being pumped out of towers and satellites. So, I'm just trying to quickly think of anything else that I wanted to mention here. The cloning they do to most people on the planet, totally without their knowledge and without their consent. They use the clones as a way to siphon life force energy and rape beings of their intellectual property, their frequency and vibration, their healing energies, their heart energies. They try to rape quite a bit from humanity. They're using y'all's, I don't usually use that word, but they're using y'all's healing energies to help heal themselves. Because they're parasites, they're dead entities. So either they're using technology in case they do get zapped with some kind of incoming universal law correction that they miss, But for, like I said, for most of those, they use clones. They use clone surrogates for a lot of things. But they're using what they've raped from you, what they've raped from humanity. They're using your stuff, especially when you're sleeping. They'll drag your ass to the astral realm. Like if you ever wake up like you're feeling that you've been in battle all night, and you're more tired when you wake up than when you went to bed. Yeah, it's probably because you're fighting these bitches who are trying to rape what they can from you. So I'm just saying, they're doing it to pretty much everybody without their knowledge and without their consent. And people, I mean, right now, if you would be amazed at what you could do operating from 100% of your capacity and get back or take back everything that's been raped from you. And I mentioned that in the last recording on how to do that. And I've also made many posts on, there's a very short video. It's basically a notification of a link. And underneath, on that video is where I've been making many of my posts that are very long and have much information in them. So if you're truly benevolent and you have intent to heal and you are devoid of all malevolent intent towards me and towards humanity, you might take a read of some of those posts and or listen to the other recording, the longer recording that I did, the other two. I kind of go over some things, but basically I've been trying to, I've been screaming to humanity for a long time. They've been forcibly torturing and raping me for over 10 years, and that's 24/7, 365. And I've been screaming to try and tell humanity what's going on and what's being forced on them via technology. Because it's an abomination. What they're doing here is an abomination. And it needs to be corrected and remedied. There are so many beings that are being forcibly tortured, raped, and murdered, above ground and below. It needs to be corrected. These bitches have to be stopped. They're dead parasitic entities. They have to be removed, ended. Manifested creation is not their right place. Dead, non-vibrating entities go to entropy. They're not allowed to continue running amok in manifested creation where all the alive, vibrating beings are, simply because of what they are. And because they've been spending so much of their time trying to possess my being, trying to murder me, and trying to still continue to try and rape from me, and where we're at as a civilization, You know, I'm still screaming. I'm still screaming to humanity to fucking wake up, man. Take a look around. Like I mentioned in the last recording, because they've hybridized with some of the humans here over many civilizations, many of the ones that either you come in contact or that you see or have dealings with or just know in passing or acquaintance, they're already like much, I wouldn't say much, but I would say some of the population are reptilians. Some of them know, some of them don't know. It depends on how much they're being controlled or how much they've been hybridized and how many times they've been cloned. Some are just clones. So some are hybrids, and some are hybrids that are more percentage. Sorry about that. That's a very loud truck. They're more of a percentage of reptilian. Those are, and they all have very specific characteristics and traits of pretty much across the board. Psychopath, sociopath, and narcissists. And if you've noticed, there's been an extreme uptick over the last 10 years in psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists. I would say the majority of those are hybridized. They're trying to put in more of their own in amongst the population. If you've noticed, so much of our reality has been forcibly inverted and made, like, you've noticed all the gaslighting and the cognitive dissonance and the so much divide and conquer and just so much shit that doesn't make any fucking sense. There's no logic to it. The way companies are run, businesses are run. They try to make sure they put their own in there, especially very large companies. They always try to get their own in there because they're psychopaths. They're, because they have a specific goal and because of the things that they're trying to implement. And because of what they're trying to do with humanity. Or I should say to humanity. So back to what I was saying, there are many that are just clones. They've already been cloned out, either in this lifetime or the ones prior. They're like empty shells, or they're very superficial, just superficial vessels. Like you can hold a 2-minute conversation with one, but that's about as far as that's going to go. They're almost like NPCs, placeholders, almost pretty much essentially just like robots. Now they have those too. I don't have as much knowledge of like any of the artificial, like the androids or their whatever robots they're using, and I'm sure that they are, but I don't have as much direct experience with those, and so I can't really speak too much on that topic. However, I can speak to the cloning horrificness, and it is horrific. Yeah, so I think some would call them NPCs. But they've already been cloned out, and most likely before this lifetime. A lot of beings here have been so horrifically fucking tortured that some have, there's probably some, especially among the homeless, because they've been forced, that's been forcibly done to them. It's not really, I would say, as far as the homeless goes, they use the masses as guinea pigs, as lab rats. So not all of the homeless are like drug addicts or alcoholics or whatever, or crime or thieves or whatever, criminals. A lot of them, that's been forcibly done to them because they've been used as fucking lab rats. Especially if you hear them talking to themselves, that's usually an indication of remote neural monitoring and voice to skull technology. And they probably have no idea what happened to them. They will probably tell you it was a series of just like bad luck, or a series of just one negative or bad instance, a series of events that happened all at once. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it was forcibly done to force those people into poverty, to basically force them to try and get them to kill themselves. Now, they've done this in just about every prior civilization. At some point, their whole thing is they want to come back to the surface. And obviously, they're trying to get humans, or as many as they can, into the AI system. And get them all, I guess you'd say, MK Ultra, right? They're trying to MK Ultra as many as they can, because they don't want them knowing what's going on. They don't want them seeing what's going on. They don't want them to even know anything about them. And they're trying to do that with everybody, so then, so they can come up to the surface and have a visit up top side here. And then what do you think happens to all of you? Can you see kind of where I'm headed with that? They've done this in just about every prior civilization, and they're trying to do it in this one. They're trying to rape you of your evolution again. So, and because most still don't even have any kind of a clue about that species being here and having been here, and what it is that they've been forcing on humanity for as long as they've been forcing it. I think it's time people know. I think it's time for humans to be knowing of bigger, horrific, vile truths about this planet. They need to know. It's not fair what the parasites are doing, and they shouldn't even be here to begin with. And this planet was forcibly made into a parasitic farm to feed parasites. So I think humans should know. I do, because it's not fair. And so I've been doing what I can over the last 10 years to try and tell people. Now, this channel, I've got over 100 videos that I had to make private because they get their, let's just say their side, that they get some of their side to force magic onto my videos and try and do very nasty things to me via my videos. So I've made them all private because the forced magic is just one more fucking thing that I have to try and fucking deal with. Out of all the other stuff that I'm already battling and I'm already trying to throw off and I'm already trying to stop and fight, right? Like, so it's just one more thing. So I made all my videos private. The last couple of videos, I've just started, and I wasn't even sure I'm not even sure I am gonna continue. I just have some things that I need to say and that I need to state. So however many videos it takes for me to do that. I don't know that I'm gonna continue making recordings. But for this last couple of weeks, this month, I've had some things that I need to fucking say and to state. Because we're at a very critical fucking time. And humans really need to pull up their big boy pants and their big girl pants and, just make the decision on whether you're going to fight or are you going to give up, right? Decisions really need to be made right now. So, yeah, it seems like even though I try to make these recordings short because of the topic, that just doesn't ever really these videos don't ever really turn out to be short. So, but I would like to go ahead and try and get this wrapped up. And if you're truly benevolent and you do not intend me harm, and you can leave a comment if you'd like. I don't know what you'd leave a comment about, but I'll make the determination whether I'm going to respond to it or not. And yeah. Either I would say that either reading some of my posts or taking a listen to the other two videos. If you are wanting more of a big picture of things, or you're in the same kind of you're having the same experiences forced on you, and you've been looking for answers, then I would say maybe take a listen or have a listen and see if any of that is helpful for you. But for now, I think I'll wrap it up and just know that most of the ones walking, not most, but some of the ones that you're walking around with on this planet are hybridized reptilians. Some of them know, or consciously know, and some of them don't. It depends on how much the reptilians think that they can control them. But you are walking around already on this planet with the other species. You're not always going to recognize them right away. There are certain specific physical characteristics in general. Not all of them fit the criteria, but if you're coming up against individuals who are, psychopathic, sociopathic, narcissistic, have no empathy, no compassion, if they they're usually very much self to serve, or service to self. You know, usually materialistic. Uh, yeah, then I would say keep your antenna sharp, and your radar sharp, and that way you have a better chance of navigating away from those ones, okay? Because you really don't want to have anything to do with them. They're parasitic entities. They're always looking for a host. Do you see? So do your best to navigate away from them. Just go a different direction. Or just turn around and walk the other way, or circle back, or whatever it is that you got to do to steer clear of them. So for now, do your best to be aware of your environment, your surroundings, even where you work, and the people that are trying to gravitate towards you. What is it that they want? Right? What do they want? Do you think they're sincere? Do you think they're benevolent? Or are they trying to get something from you? Are they trying to energetically feed from you? Are they trying to access your chakras without you knowing? Like, how do you feel when you're around certain individuals that, like, they try to drain you? Right? Like, certain individuals will come around you, and then afterwards you're like, man, you just feel tired and drained. And yeah, they were energetically feeding. They were having lunch on you. Right? You got to pay attention to your energy, how you feel around. Start really paying attention to how you feel around others. What people, if you have others in your life, what kind of a relationship is it? What are they getting from you? What are you giving to them? How do you feel when around that person? That individual is in quotes. Those are just some basic questions you can start to test. Like, how many individuals are around you that are actually there to feed? Grab lunch, grab a snack, grab dinner, whatever it is that they're trying to get from you. Right? You've all come in contact with those kinds of individuals. Right? You just got to be paying more attention now, because there's more of them circulating among humans. So just watch your ass. And for now, do your best to take care of you and those you love. And until next time.